Hey guys, sorry for the very late deadline stream today. It was an absolute mission. We got stuck on the trains on the way through. Currently streaming from Japan at 9:30 in the evening. I am stressing to quickly make my decisions as to who I'm going to be transferring in and out this week. At the moment, my plans are to, as you can see on screen, is to transfer HAALAND out and Wood in, and also to transfer out Adama and transfer in Palmer. I am hoping that I can make this decision and get things through ASAP today. Sorry for the lateness. Please let me know if you guys have any questions as to your team in the chat, or if there's currently any issues with the chat at the moment. It was a bit of a rush for me setting up, so please let me know if there are any issues. At the moment, as you can see, planning to make the following transfers for Palmer and Wood. That'll leave me with 3.4 million in the bank, and I'm probably thinking game week 11 to captain Son, and to bring him into the team for Johnson. Bit of a like for like move between Son and Johnson, but I am hoping that will work out for the best with Son being in there. Let me know what you guys think, if you think this is a bit of a crazy move. My thought process was around making sure that I get the right captains in for each game week, but I just have a feeling that Palmer's going to be the guy against Man United this week. I just feel like Man United are going to set up to have a bit more of an attacking style, and Palmer could really get it going. And with the injuries that Man City got, I just think HAALAND out makes sense to me, and I'm pretty keen to get that sorted. At the moment, I'm just having a bit of trouble with the chat. I'm trying to pull it up. So if you guys are commenting, I will get to it very shortly. If you just bear with me for a little bit. I'm also trying to get these transfers through. Got 20 minutes to the deadline. Hopefully we can get everything over. Let me know what you guys' transfer plans are. I should have I should be able to give my views on what you're planning, and hopefully give you some good advice on what you want to do for your transfer plans. Please pop a comment in the chat. I will get to it in the next couple of minutes. I am also in a bit of a frantic scramble at the moment to get everything set up for you guys, and just to make sure that I can get the right information out there. I did have a few thoughts from the press conferences and some key updates that I wanted to give you guys, and I'll probably just pop them up quickly on the screen for you, and we can talk through them as well. Here we've got our key press conference updates. Hopefully you can see that. Sorry, had it in not quite the perfect screen, but that should be a lot clearer now. One more that I don't have on there is Chiesa, which I think probably no one's that fussed about anyway, but he would probably be out for Liverpool until after the international break. Hopefully you guys are able to leave comments in the chat at the moment. I am just trying to flick onto the stream also on my phone to make sure that I can answer your guys' questions at the moment, because they're just having a few troubles. Having a few troubles on my laptop. What do you guys think at the moment of my decisions this week, with Haaland out and potentially Palmer in. So yeah, that could be a big move. As you can see, there are a few updates from the managers over the press conferences. I have quoted the parts that are quotes, and then sort of some of my comments where I've thought about what they've said and sort of given my views on what's happening. At the moment, I think Guardiola should be fine for the game, just based off the Thursday press conference. Pep really wasn't that concerned about him, not about him at the time, and yeah, I think he should be fine for the game this week. Obviously, like, they don't have a lot of rotation in defence with Walker being injured, and yeah, Rico Lewis, as you mentioned, one player that they cannot afford to rest at the moment, which is very unfortunate. Japan, enjoy, mate, Amelia. Thank you, Amelia. I am going to try and still release some content for you guys this week, and I'll have the chat up here on the side. Now I can see. Why am I taking Haaland out? Great question. Again, it's mostly around captaincy decisions. My captaincy decisions over the next few game weeks are, I'd like to captain Salah this week, and I just think he's the best captain at the moment. And I think against Brighton, one of Hursley's comments in the press conference actually was that Brighton wanted to beat every team. So as you can see, at the moment, I've currently got that captaincy on Salah, just because I think he's the better option than Haaland with. Sorry, you can't see my screen. Yeah, at the moment, I've got that captaincy badge on Salah just because I think he's the better option than Haaland this week, given that City have had those injuries. And there's just something in my gut telling me that that creative spark now for City, especially if Savinho's out, is going to be a real struggle for them. And they're just not going to be able to produce the feedback for Haaland and produce those sort of crosses and balls into play for him that he's going to need to score goals. I do think game week 11 is going to be a problem. I think Haaland in 11 against Brighton is the best captaincy for that week. And therefore, I do think that hopefully, if I can get Son in next week for Brennan Johnson, he could be a good cover against Ipswich. And then game week 12 again, I'm most likely going to go with Mo Salah, and I'd also love to have Palmer in there for his great fixture against Ipswich. But Salah against Southampton just looks too good to turn down for game week 12. So I'm probably going to go ahead and actually make these transfers live for you guys, because I think just nervous with everything going on at the moment. I don't get these over the line, and things look a bit shaky. But yeah, that is Haaland out for Palmer. I'm going to start Palmer over Rodgers, and I'm going to have Rodgers on my bench. I do think Rodgers has a good chance against Tottenham, the way they're playing, and that does lead me to think maybe I should go with Rodgers instead of Pedro Porro, thinking Spurs are not going to keep that clean sheet. Actually think that looks quite nice. And I've got Pedro Porro in the team for next week against Ipswich, which is a lovely game for him. Hopefully he can get some attacking returns. Yeah, I just think midfielders, like the goal scoring potential for Rodgers and a Watkins, even the assists, is just a bit higher than Spurs keeping a clean sheet against Aston Villa. I think that's going to be a lot of transition in that game. And I like to think that probably Spurs are going to concede a goal over that. Sorry for you Spurs fans, you're probably not going to like to think that at all. Yeah, so I'm going to go with that. Save the team down. Rodgers in there with Watkins. I really do like the look of this team. I think, as mentioned, and as I'll show quickly from these press conference slides, again, I do think Wood is going to be fit. He did have an interview this week where he said he's okay. It's just a knock. When Nuno was giving his press conference, he said Chris Wood was in that group of players with Morgan Gibbs-White, where they did have a knock, but they will see. It wasn't a confirmed out, and it didn't sound particularly bad for Chris Wood at the time. I thought that he'd probably be okay going forwards. So I am hopeful that Chris Wood starts. On Gabriel, Arteta said yes, if he completes a training session, he will be in. And he, most likely is he did complete a training session today, so he most likely will be ready and available to play this week for Arsenal. I think Newcastle was a big game. I think obviously you can never tell what their lineup's going to be, but yeah, I think he's probably gonna be in the starting lineup for them, given he did make training this week for Arsenal. Spoke about Pep's interviews for Guardiola and Lewis. Jota and Alisson slot confirmed, both out until after the international break. They're hoping they might be available post then. João Pedro has been said by Hertha that he is back in training. And I do like to think that he will be up and running for Brighton, possibly this game week. I think he might come off the bench this week. I think Hertha was talking about, he'd obviously not played for a while, and I do see that him from game week 12 with Brighton's fixtures is just brilliant, really. He would be somebody that if I had waited a little bit longer on Haaland to get him out, I would have probably brought João Pedro in 12. Any other messages in the chat? Yeah, so McNeil hadn't trained this week, but wasn't ruled out by Sean Dyche. Would you take out Haaland for Saka? Would I take out Haaland for Saka? Look, I think my transfer purely to Parma this week, and I'll pull my team back up and go through it while I'm doing it, was just based off that. I think this Man United fixture this week, Parma against United, I honestly, just my gut tells me that that's going to go better than Haaland against Bournemouth this week, just with the amount of injuries that City have got, and the lack of creativity that they've got, especially if Savinho's out now as well. Would I go with Saka? I don't know whether I would. Against Newcastle, then Chelsea, then Nottingham Forest. Look, it's not the best 3 game weeks in a row for Saka. I wouldn't want to take out Haaland for Saka. I think Bournemouth and Brighton, with really being the best captain in 11 against Brighton as well, I wouldn't take out Haaland for Saka over the next 3 game weeks. I think all of those could be good. Yeah, so many Man City out this week, Foggy Waters. I just think that that's really going to hurt the supply to him, and I'm going to be cheering for a Haaland blank for once. I've held him all season, so this is the first time for me that he's out of my team. And I think Chris Wood against West Ham also is a great fixture. And over those next 3 game weeks, I'm thinking Chris Wood against West Ham, Newcastle, and then Arsenal's going to be a tough one in 12, and then Ipswich in 13. Like, that's really nice to hold Chris Wood over those 4 game weeks. That's at least 2 great game weeks against West Ham and Ipswich, and then hopefully he can grab something against his old team at Newcastle. And yeah, I like to hope that my captaincy choices are going to pay off. I think Salah this week, Son if I can get him in next week, and then Salah Palmer depending on how the next couple of game weeks go for game week 12. And then I think we're looking pretty over the next few weeks. Guys, please put in the chat if you've got any questions about your own team. We've got only 10 minutes to the deadline. Appreciate this was a very late stream. Had a bit of trouble, obviously, setting up today. But if you do have any questions on your team and any transfers that you want some advice on, chuck them in the chat ASAP, and I will obviously get to you straight away. Now I've got the chat up and running as well, so I should be able to see anything that comes through. Yeah, Watkins out. Watkins out for Wood. Depends what your other transfers are. Are you looking to take that money out of your forward line to then move into your midfield? If you are, I think Watkins out for Wood is a fine move. I think obviously Wood has a good fixture this week. I think Watkins v Tottenham is a good fixture for Watkins as well. I just think the way that both teams play, there's going to be a lot of transition opportunities for Watkins going forwards. Just the way Spurs also like to break the other way, they're going to be committing players forwards. Villa are going to be able to hopefully use Watkins' pace to work his way through. So yeah, I think that could be a good game, and that's also why I've gone with Rodgers in my team ahead of Pedro Porro on the bench, because I just think Aston Villa are going to score in that game. So yeah, that could be I think that could be a really interesting game, to be honest. It does make me nervous. It does make me nervous leaving Porro on the bench. I sort of thought that I'm not going to have a problem with him, and I thought he'd be great. Um, and then yeah, was just a bit disappointed last week when obviously Spurs didn't perform up to standard against Crystal Palace. Yeah, very disappointing. And Aït-Nouri scored the goal as well, and that was my decision between Aït-Nouri and Porro, which to be honest is probably, and I'm gonna now massively tempt fate and say that's probably the only transfer decision I've got wrong so far this season. Going into a huge decision where I've just decided to transfer out Erling Haaland. So let's see what happens this week. I'll be up in Japan watching the game, and I am going to be supporting clean sheets for Bournemouth, to be honest, and also clean sheet for City. 0-0, lovely, boring 0-0 would be wonderful for me. Let's hope that gets over the line. Outside of that, look, guys, I think Salah's the best captaincy option. Reason being, I think, as Hertzler said in his press conference, he's going to look to attack Liverpool. He's not going to sit back and defend against them. There are going to be opportunities in transition for Liverpool. There are going to be there are going to be opportunities for Salah. Obviously, they're not going to try, like as he was saying, they don't want to defend one-on-one against those, but he wants to give his players the confidence that they are able to defend Liverpool players one-on-one. And like Brighton are going to attack. Just join, mate, and see you're transferring out Haaland this week. Will Haaland do well next week? Herman, that is the question that hurts me the most, to be honest, because I do think that Haaland will do well next week. I think that match against Brighton is almost perfect for Man City. They're going to want teams that come out and play against them, and Brighton are going to come out to play against them. Whether the Brighton put forwards that five men at the back, at least one man marking Haaland. I don't know. I don't know whether Hertzler's going to go for that. I think he's a very smart coach, and I think he's going to come up with something. But yeah, we'll have to see. Like if he thinks like City potentially are looking quite vulnerable this season at the back, especially on the break. If he thinks Brighton are ready to go toe to toe with them and they're going to try and play out and play around them with the players that they have missing, then that would be. I think that could be a really interesting game. Could potentially be quite high scoring and tough looking at it to not have any of those players in my side. Hopefully, Rico Lewis scores a double and Guardiola scores one as well. That'd be great. Yeah, I think you've commented before, Herman, and potentially you have Haaland in your team. So interesting to know if you're keeping him this week or if you're planning to transfer him out as well. I think if you do transfer him out, are you going for a Salah or a Palmer? Keeping him, yeah, going against me. That's what I like to see. Initiative and thinking. We'll chat next week in the live stream and see how you went. I won't hope against you as you're one of my followers. So I've got to hope that things go well for you. But then also hope Palmer scores 7, and then even better for me. yeah, guys, if you were interested in the key updates as well, I'll just chuck back up on the screen the press conference updates. Obviously, I think Guardiola and Rico Lewis are probably going to play for Man City. Gabriel, you can never really tell with Arsenal, but likely to play. Jota and Alisson out until after international break for Liverpool. Chris Wood most likely to play. And João Pedro coming back into training for Brighton could be a good option going forwards. I reckon he might come off the bench this week. Potential to start. I think he'll come off the bench. McNeil, not really sure about at the moment. Didn't train this week. Didn't hear any updates today, unless you guys heard anything. And then Eze out until after international break. That's going to be a killer for a lot of managers that kept him because he's really been dodging points this year. Old mate Eze. So yeah, he's really lit a few fires under a few people, I reckon, this year. Eze for Palace, including my brother, who's a Palace fan. He's probably going to be steaming about him missing a few big opportunities for Palace this year, unfortunately. But yeah, can't do much about that now, unfortunately. Out until post international break is Gabriel's playing. Look, not confirmed. Not confirmed that he's playing. I do think he will be in the team. I think Newcastle. I mean, look, you can obviously never call Arteta. If there's any on this list that I'm least confident about, it's whether or not Gabriel's going to be playing. But Arteta did say if he completes training session, he'll be available to play. He did complete the training session, so he's available to play. Whether he's going to get selected, I think it shows how big they think this game is with Newcastle. Personally, from a fan point of view, I think it's going to be a big game. I think he needs to be in the team. Guys, 3 minutes till the deadline. Please get your transfers in now. Sorry again for the late deadline stream today. It was again a tough one for me. I was running around train stations in Japan trying to get ready for you guys. So give me a shout if you've got any last minute questions right now. Otherwise, lock your transfers in, hit made, save your team down. Make sure you select the captain that you want. I am going to do the same thing right now and make sure I've got the right people in my team, and I'm happy with it. And the team is saved. Captaincy on Salah, vice captaincy on Palmer. That should probably be in there. Save that team quickly. Pedro Porro on the bench for me, and Rodgers starting. It is going to be big decisions have been made this week. Haaland out, Wood in, Palmer in for Adama. Just got to hope everything goes well. I have been talking about this for some time, and I was planning on getting Haaland in 12-13, but I have jumped the gun a little bit, hoping for I think the next few weeks. This week's going to be big. Palmer and Wood versus Haaland, and I had Adama Traore in there, so hopefully that they're going to outscore those two with Salah as captaincy, and then next week, hopefully if I get Sonny in as captain, he can do the job against Haaland, matching up against him. Guys, we have now 2 minutes till the deadline. Save your teams, get your transfers in. Any last minute questions? Probably very late now, 1 minute, the thing might break. Lock in your transfers, guys. Let's get over the line. Wishing you guys all a good game week. I hope everything goes well. Good luck, mate. You too, Foggy. Hope everything goes well for you, mate. Let me know how many points you get this week. We'll compare, I'm sure, during the week. Hopefully, I'll get my content out to you guys ASAP. And maybe we'll do more than you, hopefully. Yeah. I hope you do as well, mate. Since you're following my channel, I hope you do as well. Sounds like you got Haaland in your team, so you probably will if he grabs a couple of goals. Yeah, Viva Palmer. Almost there, guys. About 20 seconds or 10 seconds to the deadline now. Lock in those teams, save your captains, save your vice captains. Got to believe in the man. There it is. Deadline has passed. We are locked. Let's hit that enter button. Yeah, game is updating, guys. I hope everyone has a great week. I hope you all have a good game week and everything goes well for you guys. I hope Haaland scores a bunch of goals. No, I definitely don't. I hope he blanks. Yeah, my transfers are Wood in for Haaland and Palmer in for Adama. We'll see how it goes over the next couple of game weeks. Hopefully, we can run up into the top 1 mil. I think I'll hopefully put out some content over the next week or so, giving you my thoughts over the upcoming game weeks. Things might change depending on how the next couple of weeks, a couple of days goes. And then I'll be also continuing to do my series on reviewing Premier League players' fantasy teams. So one's out already with Trent Alexander-Arnold's team and with Mo Salah's team. It was really interesting. Give those videos a watch to see what Liverpool players they had in their side, and what players they just thought were good. Check it out. Obviously, Mo captained himself, no surprises there. But Trent's team and Mo's team did give you a few insights into who they thought the key guys for Liverpool were going to be, and also what sort of thoughts they had around defenders, strikers, midfielders across the league. I'm not sure who it's going to be this week, but tune in to find out which player we'll be reviewing this week. Anyway, guys, I'm absolutely starving. It is 10 p.m. and some people are staring at me from the corner of the room, wanting me to get out the door and get to food because all our stomachs are growling. So we will catch up later this week. I hope it goes well for you guys. Please subscribe to the channel if you are watching this new channel and trying to get that content out there and trying to grow that subscriber base. Hopefully you guys enjoy my content, and I will see you soon for some new FPL stuff. Have a good week, guys, and catch you later. FPL English Aussie out.